In the heart of a busy shop, a seasoned mechanic stands over the open hood of a distressed Subaru Outback. The car's owner, still clutching the hefty repair bill, is reeling from $1,200 worth of damage to his savings. This head gasket failure isn't a one-off. It's an all-too-common fate for this popular model. The customer shakes his head in disbelief, murmuring about the reliability he thought he bought into. Today, there's a lesson to learn and a wallet-heavy consequence to face. What many car owners fail to grasp, especially when looking at brands like Subaru, is that not all engines are created equal. Despite being nestled under the same badge of reliability, these engines can have vastly different life stories. The painful truth here is that assuming all components are bulletproof because of a brand's overall reputation is a mistake, one that's just drained $1,200 from this unsuspecting owner. Before the conversation dives into the exact fix, there's something every car enthusiast or casual driver should do. Pause. Drop your city or state in the comments. Understanding what climate you're dealing with provides clues to the wear and tear your vehicle experiences. A car engine in the scorching heat of Phoenix will lead a different life than one gritting through Chicago winters. Now here's a fact that flies in the face of common knowledge, the kind that car owners often overlook. The dealership advises using only their filters, but did you know that doing it their way isn't always financially sound? They won't tell you this up front. Compatible, high-quality alternatives exist that meet or exceed standards, saving you upwards of $500 over the course of your car's life. But back to the hidden danger at play here. The head gasket in this Subaru is notorious. It's made out of a material that degrades over time. Imagine it as a dam, at first strong, holding back the pressures of heat and metal. But over time, imagine that dam has tiny cracks, slowly widening as you drive, until one day it bursts. That's what happens when oil soaks into the gasket material, a slow but inevitable breakdown, leaving a $1,200 void in your bank account. Now, let's address the common oversight here, the one many fall prey to. Be honest with me. Have you ever skipped an inspection because the car seemed to run just fine? It's a typical myth. Absence of symptoms does not mean absence of disease. Ignoring regular checkups is akin to playing Russian roulette with your money. If this scenario sounds familiar, you're not alone. Let me tell you. Sharing your past blunders below might help more people than you think. For those in need now, here's the step-by-step on securing that fleet engine. It starts with choosing a better gasket material, preferably multi-layer steel, priced around $300. Add about $200 in labor if you're not handy with a wrench. While you're at it, a quality thermal sealant helps prevent future leaks, running you an additional $50. The cumulative cost? $550, a far cry from the $1,200 you would otherwise part with. This proactive step is not just preventative, it's an investment in future-proofing your drive. After today, if recalibrating your mindset saved you a penny or two, make sure to hit subscribe. It's the first step in future-proofing your wallet. And before leaving, drop a comment down below. When was the last time your assumption cost you big? Every shared experience becomes a warning to the wise. Picture this. A new customer rolls up with a Subaru Outback, a popular choice known for its off-road capability and rugged reputation. But this isn't about a love affair with a brand. This is about a ticking time bomb under the hood. And when the mechanic lifts that hood, the grim reality slaps you hard. The infamous EJ25 engine is at the core. The owner is staring down the barrel of a potential $1,200 head gasket repair bill, all because no one told them the truth about this engine's hidden Achilles heel. Here's the kicker. Most Subaru owners walk around totally clueless. What they don't know is their EJ25 engine is like a silent assassin on a countdown timer, ready to strike anywhere between 90,000 and 150,000 miles. Reliable brand names can lure you into a false sense of security. But the truth is, not all Japanese engines are created equal, no matter what the commercials say. Now, before diving into the nitty-gritty details, do me a favor. Drop your city and state in the comments below. It's crucial to consider how your local climate could rev up the demise of your car's heart. Hot desert air in places like Phoenix bakes rubber and fried electricals, while Chicago's frigid winters contract metal and crack seals. Regional weather doesn't just influence your wardrobe, it sneaks into the core of your engine problems too. So the dealership pitches you their brand new car, filled with promises of everlasting longevity and unbeaten reliability. But here's what they conveniently skip. The Subaru EJ25 is a gremlin hiding in plain sight. Pundits and armchair experts worship the Subaru's all-wheel drive and safety features. But the companies don't broadcast specific engine defects in neon lights. Instead, they whisper, "Get our brand only." But it's the specification and not the brand that saves or kills your wallet. Let's break this down. The problem lies in the head gasket, a thin layer that seals the engine head and the cylinders, keeping the oil and coolant separate. But think about it like an aging wall. Cracks begin to form, and soon enough, your head gasket is as useful as a torn page trying to hold back the tide. This invisible enemy lurks silently, unnoticed, until your temperature gauge spikes and you end up stranded on the side of the road gazing at a trail of leaking fluids. And let's be brutally honest right now. How many of you have blindly trusted a brand's reputation without diving under the hood? Drop that confessional in the comments. This is where most drivers trip, assuming iconic badges promise fail-proof engines. Be honest, has that nameplate ever made you complacent about routine engine checks? The exact fix? Unless you're doubling as an amateur auto surgeon in your garage, seek out that ASE-certified mechanic. Go for the MLS head gasket set, which stands for multi-layer steel. They cost about $200 online. Toss in another $1,000 for professional labor costs to ensure peace of mind and reduce a $4,000 potential repair nightmare. This switch keeps another $2,800 from evaporating into thin air. If your heart skipped a beat learning about this pesky issue, there's a lot more where that came from. Subscribe to save yourself from another unwelcome repair bill trick. If this revelation saved you from sipping cold coffee at the repair shop while your car gets an expensive head job, tap that subscribe button. And you know what to do next. Drop a comment with your Subaru saga or confess if you've ever let a brand's reputation steer your maintenance habits. Every story keeps these wheels turning. Before we get into how to save yourself from that dreaded $1,200 repair bill, drop a quick comment below with your city or state. Why, you ask? Because where you live plays a massive role in how your vehicle holds up over time. Let's break it down. You see, a head gasket issue in a Subaru might just be the same problem on the surface, but the climate you're driving in can drastically alter the timeline and severity of that issue. Take Phoenix, Arizona. In that relentless desert heat, coolant systems are under constant pressure, almost like a high-pressure grenade with a timer you can't see. The scorching temperatures cause the engine components to expand and contract more aggressively, putting additional stress on parts, including, you guessed it, the head gasket. That's a contributing factor to why they tend to fail more rapidly in those sweltering Sunbelt states compared to somewhere like Seattle. Now, over to a place like Chicago or Boston, where winters are unforgiving. The bitter cold hardens and makes the gasket material more brittle. And when you combine that with frequent short trips common in urban areas, your engine often doesn't reach its optimal operating temperature. That leaves it vulnerable to condensation building up, which leads to corrosion over time. Imagine it acting like a brick wall for electricity, disrupting the flow and causing premature wear on your engine's internal components. Trust this, snow and ice could mean you're playing roulette with your engine health unless you're careful. Let's venture to the coastal states next. Think San Francisco or Miami. Humidity is no friend to the metal parts under your car's hood. The constant moisture in the air, especially salt-laden air near the ocean, accelerates the rusting and corrosion process. You may not think about it while cruising with the ocean breeze, but that unseen salty air is eating away at your engine's integrity. And with Subaru's boxer engines, this environmental impact combined with their flat cylinder design means oil loving to sit there, soaking in and attacking the gasket further. But the real curveball comes for folks up in Denver or with mountain terrains. Here, the altitude affects oxygen levels, meaning your engine doesn't burn fuel quite as efficiently as down at sea level. This inefficiency forces your engine to work harder to maintain power, further accelerating any existing issues with faulty gaskets. And paired with those dramatic temperature swings, warm days but freezing nights, the risk compounds exponentially. By now, it's clear that each region presents its own set of challenges. And while it might seem like you're at the mercy of Mother Nature, by knowing your region's quirks, you can actually prepare and adapt. Maybe it's swapping out to a more robust gasket material, regularly checking on your cooling system, or improving your vehicle's ventilation with some strategic modifications, all of which we'll cover shortly. So, really think about your vehicle's environment and how it might be taking a toll on those gaskets. Have you felt that paranoia when you see a bit of oil leaking, fearing that bigger problem lurking underneath? Remember, sharing your location with other viewers isn't just a fun exercise. It can offer insights into what other drivers in your area have experienced and what's worked to nip those problems in the bud. Stay tuned, because up next is the actionable fix, tailored for your specific climate, and it's one that could potentially save you from that hefty $1,200 repair. Keep watching, and don't forget to be a part of the discussion below. Every region has its driving tale. What's yours? Let's dive into the solution, coming right up. Under the hood of every car lies an engine that can be as smooth as silk or as destructive as a runaway freight train. Today, it's all about the Subaru EJ25, the boxer motor that left more wallet holes than any engine ought to. It's a story of what goes wrong when head gaskets fail, not once, but almost as a matter of course, squeezing out a repair bill easily inching above that $1,200 every time. Let's paint a picture. Imagine the EJ25's engine block as a giant horizontal T-bone steak. Those flat-lying cylinders, meant to balance the car for better performance, work well in theory. But here's the catch. The engine's design means the oil doesn't drain away when you turn the car off. Instead, it just sits there, simmering against the gasket material like a hot stew, overwhelming fragile bread. Over time, this soaked bread, your head gasket, starts to degrade and disintegrate, creating a mess inside your engine block. In these engines from the late 90s, when that gasket material begins to crumble, the problem goes deep, literally. Exhaust gases start pushing into the coolant, the soup meant to keep your engine cool. It's like pouring acid into ice water, triggering a chemical reaction. You find that temperature gauge on your dashboard creeping up like a sly fox, and before you know it, you're on the shoulder, steam hissing from under your hood. That's the internal failure. An elusive enemy on the prowl inside your car. Then we get to the models post-2000. Here, the failures are external, like a dam with tiny but deadly leaks everywhere. Oil and coolant start weeping down the side of the engine block, a betrayal you can see. It's like watching paint peel off a once pristine wall, and it's showing you all the damage that's unfolding underneath. This unwelcome drizzle turns deceptive when left unchecked, gnawing away at the integrity of the components. And let's make it clear, whether it's those older internal failures or the later external ones, they hit like clockwork between 90,000 to 150,000 miles. It doesn't matter if it's Monday or Sunday, rain or shine. It's like every drive is a roll of the dice that almost never comes out in your favor. The financial bite? Depending on the workshop, you're looking at repair costs ranging from $1,500 up to $4,000. It's the price of ignoring what feels like a ticking bomb, steadily counting down each time that cylinder cradles and cooks its delicate gasket meal. But the sore spot for many, the piece that rubs salt into the wound, Subaru never recalled this head gasket-hungry engine. They knew the problem for years, watched it take down car after car, yet no recall. Instead, they offered coolant conditioner pellets, basically sticking a Band-Aid on a cut that needs stitches. For Subaru, they created vehicles known for their rock-solid all-wheel drives and outstanding safety ratings. But as reliable as the wheels or airbags might be, none of that would matter with an engine leaking like a sieve onto your driveway at just 90,000 miles. Do you have an EJ25 horror story to tell? Or maybe a miraculous testimony of one that's still kicking? Drop it in the city-state where you faced your mechanical beast below. Your tales shine a light in this ongoing saga, exposing the flawed icon for what it is. Hit subscribe if unmasking this truth kept a few dollars in your pocket and perhaps some frustration off your shoulders. Now, here's a story that'll hit home if you've ever been left stranded by a supposedly reliable car. A gentleman named Mark from Cleveland, Ohio, learned this lesson the hard way, and it was a gut-punch reality check for him. He was a proud owner of a Subaru Outback, a vehicle lauded for its all-wheel drive and safety features, flaunting that badge of Japanese reliability. He was content, felt like he'd made a wise investment. Yet, beneath the hood lurked a menace. The infamous EJ25 engine. For over a decade, Mark's rides seemed more or less uneventful. His confidence in that Subaru was sky-high, given the considerable mileage his next-door neighbor had clocked on a Toyota Camry without breaking a sweat. Over 300,000 miles and counting, with just routine oil changes. Meanwhile, Mark's odometer was inching toward 100,000, and that's when his troubles began. One chilly morning, Mark noticed something peculiar. The sweet smell of antifreeze greeted him as he approached his car. Dismissing it as a mere annoyance, he continued his day, only to be met with an overheating engine midway through his drive. That thermostat needle climbed steadily into the red zone, leaving Mark stranded on the side of the road with his engine demanding attention. The verdict? A blown head gasket. And folks, that's not a small repair we're talking about. Dealers were quoting him around $1,847, and some upward to $4,000 depending on the particulars of the service. A repair that doesn't ask if it'll happen, it demands to know when. His Subaru's heart was breaking down due to a known issue. The gasket material Subaru had opted for was notorious for crumbling over time, especially within this boxer engine configuration. Mark's story isn't unique. The shared frustration among thousands of Subaru owners echoes through forums and repair shops alike. When you hear testimonies from others in our community, it's clear that the same dreadful fate strikes nearly every Outback or Forester owner who danced through the late 1990s to early 2000s models. There's a camaraderie in the misery of their situation, and it's an all-too-common experience that feels like a rite of passage. The stories align with head gaskets failing internally on early models, exhaust gases forcing their way into coolants, turning obedient engines into ticking time bombs. It's like Mark's paycheck had found a new home at the repair shop, every paycheck drained just a little more by this hidden enemy. The confounding part here, folks, is how a brand built on the mythos of reliability could construct a loyal customer base only to rattle their trust. Subaru's resolve? Little pellets of coolant conditioner shipped to unsuspecting owners, a cheap disguise for a deep-rooted problem. This isn't just about Mark. This is about you, the viewer who might be rolling the dice on a similar purchase. The lesson here is a stark reminder that even the most revered brands aren't immune to critical engineering oversights. Before you ink that deal on an older Outback or convince yourself your EJ25 is holding strong, set aside those dollars for the inevitable. That could mean an extra $1,200 slipping through your fingers if you're not prepared. Mark's struggle epitomizes a shared reality for Subaru EJ25 owners. Recognize how this seemingly individual struggle has become a collective battle against an engineering misstep. Have you or someone you know been blindsided by this same issue? Let these testimonies be your guide and save you from wandering down a costly path. Stay tuned for the solution in the next act, one that could save your Subaru and, more importantly, keep your hard-earned cash from bleeding away. Be honest with me right here. When shopping for a car, how often have you assumed that all Japanese engines are equally reliable just because of their reputation? It's a belief that many hold, thinking a Japanese badge is a seal of reliability from the heavens. Yet, plenty of folks out there have been blindsided by what they assumed would be a just turn the key and go kind of engine, only to end up with a $1,200 repair bill before hitting 100,000 miles. Now, imagine someone who just put down money on a Subaru with a legacy for all-wheel drive greatness, only to face a head gasket repair that shakes their wallet. That's the kind of unexpected blow that makes you question what you thought you knew. The reputation might be as solid as a rock on the outside, but under the hood, things can be as different as night and day between brands like Toyota and Subaru. Let's dissect these assumptions a bit. Are some of you still believing that a car from a big-name Japanese automaker automatically means trouble-free miles? I want to hear about your experiences. Because let's face it, car ownership can be as unpredictable as a roll of the dice when you don't know what's lurking beneath those polished surfaces. Here's your engagement challenge. Think back. How many of you walked into a dealership or scrolled through used car listings, filtering for Japanese brands thinking you dodged the bullet of major repairs? And perhaps some of you might have ended up with a Subaru, thinking you were safe, only to realize later that your head gasket was plotting against your bank account. Complete honesty creates a bridge for learning. There's no shame, only breakthroughs. Just like Bob from San Antonio thought he was getting a steal with his Subaru Outback, only to spend $1,500 at his local shop dealing with those head gasket issues that seem almost engineered into the car's DNA. When that check engine light flickers or you're seeing oil drops on the garage floor, suddenly that solid reputation feels more like a shadow than a shield. Tell me, has this assumption bitten you before? Have you found yourself in a pit of spiraling repair costs because of a single misstep? What's essential is realizing that not all engines are created equal, even under the same national flag. That's like grabbing any bottle labeled oil for $3.75 at the grocery store, thinking it's good enough, and then finding out the hard way that your engine needs a specific viscosity to avoid disastrous wear down the line. So right now, are your engines humming nice and easy, or are you hearing the unsettling tune of impending bills? The clearer your insight into your own assumptions and how they may have guided your choices, the better equipped you'll be to steer yourself towards a more reliable future. Go ahead and drop those stories in the comments. Have you been caught in this web of assumption about Japanese reliability before? Or have you dodged the bullet through luck or knowledge? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. Sharing these tales not only helps each of you, but those watching as well. This kind of wisdom is what keeps the community informed and saves you from repeating someone else's painful $1,200 learning curve. Let's turn these experiences into the roadmap for the kind of car reliability we all strive for, without those nasty surprises. If this deep dive into assumptions opened your eyes, hit subscribe to ensure you're stocked up with the knowledge to keep driving forward wisely. Picture this, a Subaru EJ25 engine sitting in your garage, hood propped up, coolant weeping down the side of the block like tears of a costly regret. It's a sight too many have faced before. An out-of-sight problem sneaking up with an out-of-pocket cost of up to $4,000 if ignored. But here's what the old pros don't want to let on. Fixing it yourself isn't nearly as daunting as the dealerships let on. Now, let's jump right into the exact fix and keep your money where it belongs, in your wallet. First up, you're going to want a head gasket set specifically designed for the EJ25 engine. Brands like Pro or Subaru's own OEM equipment are trusted by mechanics who've been through this battle countless times. Expect to pay around $130 for a Pro set, which is a lot lighter on the bank account than the $4,000 dealer quote lurking in the background. Now get yourself a sturdy torque wrench. Precision here is key. That head gasket is like the glue holding everything together. Get it wrong, and you might as well be driving liquid sandpaper through your engine. You're also looking at about $50 for a good one. But think of it as insurance against the dreaded check engine light sending you into panic. Time to pop off those pesky components blocking your path: the intake manifold, exhaust manifold, and timing belt. Easy does it, though. That timing belt is like the maestro in a symphony, keeping everything in perfect harmony. Disturb it, and you're in for an engine concerto of chaos. Once you've cleared the way, gently remove the cylinder head by loosening each bolt in the reverse order of the torque sequence. Remember, these bolts have been holding back thousands of explosions per minute. Respect their work. With the head off, the failing gasket will reveal itself, soaked and lifeless. Now it's time to scrape off the remnants. Think of it like peeling away old wallpaper. Slow and steady wins this race. Use a plastic scraper to avoid damaging the surfaces, treating them as delicately as a stack of $100 bills. Before laying down the new gasket, clean those surfaces meticulously. A little brake cleaner on a rag will do wonders here, wiping away any hope the old gasket had of compromising your fix. Then, place your new gasket. This is your chance to rewrite the EJ25 story from unreliable to unstoppable. Reinstallation time. Place the cylinder head back onto the block. Use your torque wrench to tighten the bolts in the correct sequence and to the specified torque. This is where the $50 wrench earns its keep, ensuring each bolt gets its fair share of torque, no more, no less, leaving you confident your engine won't betray you later. Reassemble everything you removed. Timing belt, exhaust manifold, intake manifold. Treat this phase like a jigsaw puzzle where every piece has its perfect place. Then refill your fluids, coolant, oil. With each drop poured, you're warding off that looming $850 expense. Here's the real kicker. A mechanic buddy of yours might whisper about skipping the torque sequence, saving a bit of time. But let's be real. That's a recipe for returning to the same leaky block blues, the ones that have already claimed too many bank accounts. Now, fire her up. That smooth rumble tells you you've just outsmarted a $4,000 ticket to the repair shop. If following this guide has kept cash in your pocket, consider hitting subscribe. Let us know if fixing your head gasket saved you a small fortune. Every comment counts, and every dollar saved is a story waiting to be told. So, now that you've seen the landscape of what Japanese engines can do, or rather, can fail to do, it's time to make sure this knowledge sticks with you and makes your next decision a smart one. If saving a potential $1,200 on a head gasket repair doesn't sound appealing, think again. That kind of money could be going toward a vacation or even just peace of mind, knowing you avoided a mechanical nightmare because you had the right information. If you've made it this far, it means you're serious about protecting your engine and your wallet. Think about it. Spotting a head gasket problem early because you were informed can make the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major budget buster. It's why the community here constantly shares insights and tips. It's better when you're forewarned. Your drive matters to all of us, and the goal is simple. Keep you out of the shop for expensive, avoidable repairs. If this breakdown saved you from making an expensive mistake, do yourself a favor right now and hit subscribe. That way, you'll have the upper hand every single time you hit the road. We're building a community of informed drivers who don't just rely on dealerships or salespeople to tell them what's what. We dig deeper and find the truth that keeps your car and your bank balance in good health. Drop a comment below telling us about your engine experiences. Ever dealt with a notorious Subaru EJ25 head gasket issue? Or maybe a friend shared a horror story after their engine left them high and dry? We want to hear it all because those real-world stories are the glue that holds this community together. They educate faster and louder than any manual can. Your voice matters here, just like your dollars matter in your pocket. Tell us what you've seen, what you've fixed, or what you've avoided. Maybe you caught an engine problem early and left the repair shop with your $1,200 still in your pocket. Let the rest of the community know what's out there to trip them up and how they can sidestep it just like you did. And remember, staying one step ahead is the best maintenance routine you can adopt, bar none. Whether you're a curious car owner or a seasoned pro, those stories and tips make all the difference. Keep your vehicle running smoothly and your savings intact by subscribing for more. You never know what might pop up next. That's going to hit your wallet if you're not prepared. By subscribing, you're not just hitting a button, you're joining a network of savvy car owners who keep more of their hard-earned cash where it belongs, in their wallets, not in the mechanic's coffers. Be part of the conversation and keep sharing your insights. Because whether you're cruising in a rock-solid Toyota or navigating a fickle Subaru, sticking with us means you'll always be in the driver's seat when it comes to car knowledge and savings. So act now. Subscribe, comment, engage. And let's keep each other sharp, because knowing even a single dollar-saving tip is like having treasure unlock right in front of you. It's your car, your money, and your move. Choose wisely.